There's something different about this place. This is East Union. Tucked off sort of between New Albany and Tupelo, this softball team has won the last 4 Class 2A state championships. They're about to add 2026 to that wall. That's almost impossible to do. But today, after talking with head coach Josh Blythe, the Mississippi Coaches Association Coach of the Year, and outgoing senior Allie Cooper, who doesn't know what it's like to have a high school end without a championship, I'm starting to figure out why. This is episode 4 of the Hardwired 662 podcast. We're here with Coach Josh Blythe, Allie Cooper. East Union softball has won 4 straight championships. Right. We'll start with you, Coach. Just in your perspective, how hard is that to do, and how has your team done it?
My goodness, man! You know, we you look back over this run we've had. It really started in. I've been here. Just finished year 15. I've been doing fast pitch for 13, and that first year was a struggle. You know, I think I was thinking last night. I think we went like 14 and 11. You know, and I knew it was a lot of work. And man, then we started turning the tide. At about 16, we played for a first North Half championship, and had a group of kids there that played for 3. Just never could get over the hump. You know, and then you fast forward, we have a few more really good teams running to COVID, and then we come back and we lose 8 seniors over COVID, who I thought we had a pretty good chance to have a shot at it. And we lose those kids, and then we come in 21, and we graduate the rest of them, and then flip to 22, everybody's gone, except a kid named Georgia Robertson and Carrie Wilkinson, and they're seniors, and we bring in 7 or 8 junior high kids. It was 14 of them total. Ended up starting 2 of them right off the bat, and 22 was magical. It was man, it was one of the funnest years I ever had. We lost game 3 of North State Championship, and I thought then, I said, man, I don't know if we'll ever get over the hump. Well, then 23 rolls around, and we go through. You know, we're starting all these junior. I think we started 5 junior high kids that year, and we'll go to game 3 against East Webster again, and we finally beat them. Finally get over that hump, and we win the first one in 23, and you know, you're just glad you got one. I don't know if that'll ever happen again. Well, then 24 comes, and we do it again, and 25 comes, and we do it again, and 26 comes, and you do it again. You know, I don't try to get caught up in it. When the season starts, I don't think about. I try not to think about last year. I think when you think about last year and things that could have went different, there's a level of depression sometimes that sets in. And you think about the future, you get anxious. Mm-hmm. Try to be where my feet are, and can we get better today? You know, and every year there's different problems that arise and things that you got to overcome as a team and a group, injuries, and you know. So I just one year at a time, and I always tell them every year, last year's team ain't coming through that door. Mm-hmm. Everybody's coming for you. You know, how are we gonna get better? Mm-hmm. So, man, you know, you just sit back now and you look at it and you go, gosh, I can't. It's hard. Do you let yourself think about it? You know, Nick Saban's approach. I remember my dad in 23 called me. He goes, "Well, can we do it again next year?" Nick Saban says you enjoy it till midnight. You get over it. You flip the script, and you know, I kind of have had that approach. I think my mindset is I'll keep your head down, keep working, and then one day if you're able to retire, you kind of get back and you can reflect a little bit on some of these things, but. Mm-hmm. Losing some of these awesome seniors, man, you know, it's emotional for me this year because how awesome they've been, you know, winning it all 4 of their 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th grade years. It was a really special group.
Allie, what does that mean? 4 in a row. It's hard to win 1 championship in high school. I've seen some really good teams not win titles. You don't know what it's like in high school not to win one. No. Has that even set in at this point, or have you had time to reflect on it?
Not yet. It's just crazy, you know, looking back. I moved in from Ripley. So moving in middle of my 8th grade year, you walk on the field and you're like, they know what they're doing. You know, like, this is elite. And I was just thankful to have an opportunity to be able to play all 4 years. It hadn't set in yet. I'm still living in the moment with it. Fire hadn't went away yet.
All you girls talk to each other. I mean, you got a coach, but I'm sure y'all have your own meetings and you talk to each other. You motivate each other. And what kind of conversations do y'all have with each other?
We had to do a lot of searching within the team. We had to be able to not reflect on last year and as girls, teenage girls especially, you get caught up in the past a little bit, and we had to be able to move forward from that. We had to be able to say, hey, we don't have the same team. We don't have the same, nothing's the same. And it was, especially this past year, it was real hard because we didn't lose anybody. We had every single person from last year come back. So it was, hey, it don't matter because other teams had people move in. We got to get it going.
Expectations are massive. Once you win a couple, you're expected to at least get there.
I made the joke before, and me and fellow coaches, we laugh about it. I remember it was after the third one in a row. We get off the bus, and man meets me and goes, "We got another one next year." I didn't even, the night hadn't even set in yet. Then you're expected. It's those expectations. Can get to you. I think we expect a lot out of ourselves. I know I do as a coach, and I take a lot of things. I've always been the kind of guy. If Allie's in a slump, I've never been the one to blame the kid. I blame myself for her being in the slump, and how can I get her out? And so I think with expectations here, and we talk about stick and ball around here a lot. I think Rick Cleveland's son. Down the famous rider, I can't think of the guy's name. He, 23, you put a post out about
Tyler.
Tyler, yeah, about it being stick and ball and East Union's world, and that all started back when Chris Basil was hired here in the early '90s, and he changed the entire culture of this place. Although he's retired now, he's still around with baseball. His hand is all over, his fingerprint. He coached me. Allie's dad played here. And so it's just and a lot of these kids that I coached, their dad came through here, and it was just a way of life, and so it's cool because their expectations are in our community to have competitive softball and baseball programs, and athletically in general, expect you to, and it's one of those spots that it's not pressure to win, it's just pressure to do things right, and you want to keep that standard. You want to keep that going for sure. But yeah, it's remarkable.
And you said you've been at Ripley and East Union. How long were you at Ripley? Through 8th grade?
Yes, sir. I moved midway through my 8th grade year. I was at Ripley the rest of the time.
Okay.
Prior.
So when you got here and started seeing the softball team and what was it you saw that you thought this is different? Can you pinpoint that?
So, growing up, played a lot of travel ball. I think that's a big difference now is travel ball. Everybody's playing travel ball. So I knew most of the girls on the softball team prior, and so moving in, it was like, wow, they had it was a family, and everybody was so close, it was, everybody knew everybody. It didn't matter who you were, you're going to be related to somebody else at some point, somewhere down the line, and, they just collected me in, and they just let me be one of them, and it was crazy just going from a big school to here, and they just took me in and they cared for me, especially in classes and everything else. It's just crazy.
Josh, talk about that from the first to the fourth one. What's the emotion? You said you win the first one, you're like, this may never happen again, I got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Is the fourth one different?
I think I tried to. I remember I was able to win one in 18 in slow pitch. The very last year we had it, and I remember probably not feeling as excited as one would think you would. I think I've learned through the years, those trophies are awesome. You walk in, you see them out there, they're fantastic. But at the end of the day, they collect dust. I think I found more pride, more excitement in relationships with kids and parents and the community and coaches. Man, camaraderie with coaches is second to none. I have so many friends that I've made through this business that it means more to me than even all those state championships, And so I remember the first one, first trophy. I went and got it. And I kissed it, because I knew I wanted to do it, man. I wanted it so bad, I thought, man, if I ever get one, I'll be happy. And that's a lie. You get one, you want another one, and you want to stay. You want to stay competitive. Anybody's competitive by nature. You want to try to stay as good as you can, and now, if you see us I let the kids. It's all about the kids, man. It's about them. And they asked me to kiss it this year, just because that's kind of what I've done.
He did.
I kissed it, and it's about them, and I'm so happy to watch their excitement and the community excitement. That means more to me than anything else.
This is a tough-ish question because a lot of times a team in any sport wins 4 in a row. There tends to be some, not on purpose, lack of appreciation or lack of recognition.
Yeah.
I think people get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it.
Has that been a problem here at all?
I think it would be dumb to say, or naive to say that don't happen. Baseball, it was so cool because our runs kind of coincided with baseballs. They had a chance for 4 in a row, won 3 out of 4. Which you talk about how hard it is to win, and so you get 2 teams. I think people who've been in the community a long time, like the older generation, like they really understand. Man, this is really unique, and I think as players and parents on the team, we would come to expect it, and anything less would be a failure. And so I think we'd be naive to say that's not the case. And I think this group has done an unbelievable job of. We don't think about today. We think about who our next opponent is, this game, how important this game is. And then from there, we just move forward and we try to stack wins, try to stack good days, and hopefully it all falls in place for you. And this year it's truly something unbelievable. And I didn't allow myself to look at it in that perspective until season was over. But some of the most gaudy numbers I've ever seen, offensively, and it was just unbelievable. And just kind of how I knew last year coming in off the bus. And we didn't lose anybody in 25. I knew this would be the best team we ever had. So from that perspective, now we have a really good group of kids. Obviously, they also won in basketball. First girls basketball state championship. Well, anytime you start talking about spring sports, there's an overlap of basketball season. And this year, I think when we got them, basketball won it on a Saturday. We left Sunday at 2 o'clock to go to the beach to play in a tournament. Now, our practice had been very minimum, and we played 20. Let's see what it was. It was 25 games over 36 calendar days, and 5 of those calendar days were Sundays. So only 5 weekdays we didn't play a game. So I knew there was a race against time. I tell our kids all the time. I think our biggest opponent was time. How can we have time together to create this team camaraderie? And when you get into the playoffs, and softball now is different because it's on the baseball schedule. So then you have time to start stacking days, which is crazy because you would play on a Thursday, Friday, or a Friday, Saturday, and then you're off to the next Friday, Saturday. So that's when our practices really got started.
Yeah, time.
Yeah, time together, and there's challenges. But I think in anywhere, they're supposed to win it. They're going to do it again. But for some reason, this 4th one has kind of been a little different in the community. Like, man, this is really unique. So it is, man. It's difficult. Kind of like we're talking about Michael Smith earlier. There's an expectation to win.
Sure.
you know. So that's
and you feel that. You feel that, don't you?
Yeah, you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it. Yeah, you feel it. And there's things along the year that wake you up. I think we ended the year on a 27-game win streak.
Including playoffs?
Including playoffs.
So you didn't lose?
We didn't lose. We didn't lose. Run ruled state championship both games, and
did that last year too.
Yeah, and I think in North Ave we run ruled game 1, maybe here, and I mean it was just we outscored opponents like 444 to 57.
It's dominant.
It was absolutely dominant. It reminded me of watching. I aggravate our baseball guys, but I think it was 22 or 23 maybe. They just beat everybody to a punch, I mean, this year's group went up to Hernando, who finished number 1 in the state, went up and beat them at Hernando 3-2, and an absolute.
A 6A school or
7A. They were 7A. They were 7A state champs. Yeah, in an absolute just bloodbath of a game, So that's how talented they were.
What does that feel like as the small school to go to one of the bigger schools in the state and do that?
So on the bus, we were talking. We were like, you know what? We're just gonna go out there and play because at the end of the day, it's going to be real nice if we win, but nobody's going to be like, well, they should have won. You know, it's a small, you're a 2A school playing a 7A school. You just play your game, and that was our goal. And I think one thing that helped us win that game was how close we were to each other. You know, it didn't matter what happened. It didn't matter if you went 0 for 4, 4 for 4. You know, you had a family behind you, and it just helped so much to have people in the dugout cheering, and everybody was just staying with you and staying cheerful, and it was just crazy. That was a different game that we played that day.
You know, you got to get. I'm talking about her name. You got to give credit to Coach Nikki Whitten up there, who's got. You know, she reached out to us, and after we'd won our second one in a row, and she had lost 2 in a row. She had lost recently. I want to say a couple in a row down to Northwest Rankin, and she scheduled every state champion in the state
To get better.
And she came here that first year, and it was our first week out of basketball, and they beat the crap out of us last year. So I said, hey, let's play next year. Give me a week or 2, and we'll push it back, and you know, try to get her legs under us. And man, the first thing she does, she wants to call and play again. You know, so you know, it's and as a 7A coach, you got to think, well, if we win, we're supposed to. If we lose, what's wrong with us? You know, kind of one of them things. So you got to tip your hat to those coaches who reach out, no matter classification, level of, you know, who we're going to play and try to get better. And I had a daddy come up to me after that game from Hernando, and we beat them in extra innings. And he said, we may both win one this year because of that. And we did.
So they won too.
They won too, yeah. So it was really, you know, really neat, you know. There you go again. There's that camaraderie, you know, with coaches. And there's nothing like it. Nothing like it.
What's your future goal?
I'm going to Northeast to play softball.
Okay.
And I'm going to be a teacher.
Okay.
Teach biology. So.
What can you learn, and you may have to think about this, what can you learn from your years playing softball and the success you've had? Do you expect that to go into your real life after sport? You still got softball to go, but what have you learned from softball you can take into life?
I mean, growing up, from when I first started playing, I was 5, 6 years old. One thing my parents taught me is if you want it, you'll work. And that, I mean, we had to do that. You don't just come across 4 state championships. We had to work for it, and I would just want to take that work ethic with me as I'm going through life. I mean, it was just crazy going through, you know, we played 4 games a week sometimes, and you got to take a breath, and you're like, I'm here. And it went by so fast. It was like, you didn't get a breath. You were playing, and I just hope that, you know, playing in college, you know, I just keep that same work ethic that I had, and I can just come out with the same results in life as I did here.
What was that last out like? Because you get every player's got their last final out, and you're in with a title on your last out. But did you think about that final out when it happened? It's over, or were you just in the title moment?
It was. I cried. Well, so we're playing. You know, we get to the point where it's like we get 3 outs, it's over, we win. So there's a switch that you flip as soon as you find that out, and you're like, it's go time. You know, we got to go, and there was nothing like it. I mean, past 4 years, the last out felt like the hardest. It couldn't come fast enough. You just been working, and it's it. You get there. But as soon as we got that out, we always go and we just dogpile each other, and everybody's hugging everybody. People are crying, and it was. I just don't think there's another feeling like it in this earth. It's just crazy.
And you know, the hard part about coaching is when you get these kids in junior high and they're immature and they're, you know, a lot of lessons that's going to be taught and learned, and by the time they get seniors, you really love them, you know, and they've grown up, and you've watched them evolve into leaders, and you know, from a kid who forget her socks every home game to, you know,
was that you?
to just this incredible, and there's so much, that's the part of coaching that's so fun, you know, that, you know, you take somebody like Allie. I've never coached Allie Cooper, and I say it I've said that in volleyball. I call her a unicorn, you know, because I mean, how many times Coach Lowe, great friend of mine in Hamilton. We played him in the third round of playoffs, and Allie comes in, starts in right field, and ends up finishing the game at shortstop. You know, never in 25 years of coaching have I been able to bring a right fielder in to play shortstop. And so, you know, every day we go to practice, and Allie would be taking ground balls at short. She'd be receiving balls at first. She'd go catch fly balls in outfield because we just didn't know. Had a young lady get hurt this year at third base, pulled a hamstring. Really good player, Marty Clayton. And, you know, what we going to do? Well, Cooper's going over there. Wherever she's at, we transfer her to third. And first game, you know, she plays it like she's been playing third all her life. So, man, you know, I've had a lot of, you know, I had never coached Allie Cooper who could do all those things, but we had a team full of kids who were just super athletic, and Allie's one of them, just uber athletic kids. Daddy posted a picture the other day. She's playing flag football. She's catching go routes in flag football. How old were you?
I was little.
I mean, man, and so in volleyball, she played outside hitters. She's played back row, DS. She's played right side. I mean, you know, she's just a Swiss Army knife, man. So, you know, it's really cool getting to coach them kind of kids, and you watch them grow up, and probably more proud of her than anybody that her growth, probably more than anything I've ever seen.
The way you've done your career, as far as you're a true utility player, that can be good lessons for a lot of the young athletes. Is that something you strive to do, learn different positions? What made you want to do that, and how good is it to be able to do that?
So growing up, you know, go back to travel ball. You're playing travel ball. You don't know who's going to show up that weekend. You're young. People have stuff going on. So started out, I was a third baseman. And I was like, okay. Then I started catching. Well, then I went to outfield. And I come back in, played middle infield, and then played first base a little bit. So you learn as you go. And I've done my best to keep everything that I've learned in the back of my mind just in case. And I got to give a lot of credit to my parents because there's no telling how many times they've come home from work and took me to the field, ground balls, pop flies. I mean, countless at-bats in the cage, you know, hitting coaches, just all sorts of things that they've just poured their time into. And it was just crazy to see it come out, you know.
Yeah.
It's just crazy just having that community behind you. I don't really remember a game that Mom, Dad, somebody wasn't there. And I've had that continuously growing up, and it's just a blessing to have.
Well, the fact that you realize that, I don't think, that's not every kid.
No. That's part of her growth.
Yeah, it's a maturity level, I think.
Yeah.
At what point did you realize what your parents are putting into you? Like, they're really behind you and building you up.
Maybe when I moved my 8th grade year, you know, I didn't realize not many kids have that. Not many kids have parents that would come home after work, working so long, take you to the field, spend hours on the field. My little sister, she's in 7th grade this year. I get to do the same thing with her. So I think I realized it when I got into high school, and there was kids that were like, I don't have a way there. You know, it was eye-opening. Like, I've never had to worry about not being able to practice, not being able to do these things, and there was kids that struggled with it. So especially in high school, my main goal was, hey, if anybody needs me, I'm there. And I think that was our whole team. You know, there wasn't a time where I couldn't show up at practice. I could have called countless people on our team, and they'll be like, I'll be there to get you. And that's what's made our team special, is we're so close to each other, and we have each other's backs on the field and off the field. There's so many countless friendships that I've had that I just don't think I'll ever be able to get back from that.
What does that mean from a coach? Because you see it in the team.
It just this thing, man. I go back to 22. I remember like it's yesterday. It was we were getting ready to start the playoffs. Maybe even been in the first, second round. School was getting ready to get out, so kids are beginning to be exempt from exams, and they don't have to come until softball time. And I looked up, and man, there's seniors with 7th graders. Like, they've been, I said, where y'all been? We've been swimming. I stayed at her house last night. Well, I knew then, like, I got chill bump. I said, this could be special. And then it just built, and it built, and it built. And and these kids, they to this day, we have a little league down here on 3 nights a week, and I got some softball girls working in the concession stand, and they were leaving. Hey, I love you. They tell each other they love them. Like, so that's probably been the most surreal thing. You know, there's I'm sure there's, you know, there's always people who want more and this and that, but the kids, man, they no matter what, they really love each other. Which I know it's cliche to say, but they leave they're leaving. Hey, I love you. You know, and they hug each other.
It doesn't always happen that way.
No, it does not always happen that way. So it started there, and it's just kind of built, man. And that closeness together has remained. You know, even when they get on each other's nerves, and they're girls, man. You know, there's going to be some things that always happen, but at the end of the day, they always come back and figure it out and love each other. And you get kids like Allie. I've always told Allie her heart's bigger than her brain is sometimes, and it's a compliment. She'll take 4 orphans and 3 dogs and 5 cats, and she just loves everything and loves everybody. So man, that's the things that I hold on to more than anything else. You know, wins and losses, those things are really fun, but it's these kids you'll see 20 years from now that, you know, that you just love and love to see how successful they've been. Yeah. None of this happens around here without. You got to talk about your assistant coaches, man. You know, I mean, we've had some fantastic ones. You know, right now I got Coach Jamie Russell, who was the baseball coach down here, won 3 state championships. I think this year was his 10th overall. I think when he won softballs, wow. Working on toe rings now, I tell him. But you know, it was so difficult to put a lineup together with much talent because you got hurt. I mean, she's batted anywhere from leadoff to 9-hole. And we ended up Coach Russell, he said, let's put her in the 9. And this is the girl that hit 6 home runs. 6 home runs, I think. She hit 3 or 4 in the last 2 series. Just got stupid, unconscious, you know. I don't even know what to. I mean, just some ungodly stats. But I got another lady, Coach Kayla Watson and Junior Graham, who they do anything with. You know, these things aren't possible without those guys. You know, you got so many great people pouring into a program that, and you just, you know, your name is attached to head coach. And I tell Coach Russell all the time, you know, he's assistant, but he's anything but an assistant. You know, he's fantastic, and so having those kind of people around make it go too. Because these guys, they hear my voice all the time. Hearing somebody different, it really helps. I'm telling you, it helps. Different perspectives, you know, and that's, you know, those things are so unique to have too.
This community too, though. Talk about what this community means, because we're a little way from New Albany. We're a little way from Tupelo. You got Guntown, Saltillo here. East Union kind of sits off in its own little bubble here, because you're not like Inglemoor or Myrtle out there.
That's
you're
right.
in your own little bubble. What's special about this area?
I mean, I live 2 minutes from the school. I mean, I could walk home if I needed to. And, you know, being so close to everybody shows up. You know, everybody's going to be there if you need them. There's not a game that I've been to, you know, other than my parents being there. I could have asked anybody in the stands for anything, and they would have been like, of course, you know. Then they back you up. And especially going to state, you know, it's a good ways away, but they showed up and they were loud and they cheered, and there's not a game that they come to where that didn't happen. You know, playing North Half, we're here. You just, as a senior, you just take it in and you look around at all of the people that's there, and it was insane. It was crazy. It made you, you know, it makes your heart swell a little bit looking around. I'm trying to think of who. I mean, there's not many people that didn't come to a game if it was going on.
We have a super fan, we call him, over here on Highway 9, Mr. Jimmy Wigington. And I think Mr. Jimmy's 80, I want to say he's 88 or 89. And so for years, Mr. Jimmy's a huge, man, he got such an imprint around here on baseball. He coached my dad, he coached a lot of our dads. And back before baseball was really travel, they would load them with back of trucks and they would play at Alpine and ball, and they would go all over and play. And I've always aggravated Mr. Wig. Whenever they would come down, he loves baseball and softball. He loves anything athletically. He does not miss. He barely can get around now, but if he's coming, he's going to be here. And I got tickled this year because when baseball and softball played, Mr. Wig always went to watch the baseball team play. Well, I knew early this year, and I said, man, Mr. Wigg, he's picking softball over baseball. So I knew we had arrived when Mr. Wigg, our super fan, was coming to watch softball. And you know, the people we talk about urchins and seahorses and all that stuff. People ask me all the time, and I go back to Mr. Greenhill's when he picked that urchin name. Poorly or raggedly dressed boy was a street urchin. Where the kind of the name originated from.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so I tell people all the time, you know, there's nobody over here's got a lot of money, but they'll give you their time. You know, man, you want to build a fence, you tell me when, and there'll be more daddies here and farmers here with their tractors, and you can shake a stick at. You know, so I think a lot of those things have kept the community grounded. You know, like just blue collar work ethic and. You know, Allie lives 2 minutes, and you can stay in our district another 20 or 25, get up around Dumas.
Right.
Kids driving from over there. And,
almost Ripley.
Yeah, almost Ripley, yeah. And so the district's just real big, you know, on this side of the eastern side of the county. And I bet, man, hey, you show up, and I mean, I know they're going to be here. They're going to support you, you know. And administration, just all the way down.
We won't undersell it too much. You have Ray Ray's and a Dollar General, so
That's right.
we got stuff here.
Absolutely. We don't even have, you know, you know, everybody, y'all are going to go 3A. I said, man, you know, we're right smack in the middle of the two. The way 1A to 3A works is less than 100 kids. I mean, I think last year it was like 70-something kids could separate you.
Yeah.
I said, so to say there's never a chance would be a lie because it's just such a small gap in those. I said, we don't have a red light. You know,
that's true. There's no red light here.
No, you know, if you want to go, you've got to go at least 4 miles to get to the gas station. You know? That's
true. There's a yield sign by the church here.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. And so they're just, you know, it's just a rural place, but we're driver's ed kids can tell you, Coach, we can be at Chick-fil-A in 13 minutes. You know,
so you know it's timed out.
Yeah. So it's not far, you know, from anywhere, but you're still in the country. You're still in a place that. I think is, you know, this man told me 20 years ago, I think it's a diamond in the rough. You know, he said, you're just right here in the middle of everything. Yeah. And as everything gets bigger, people want to get out of that. And, you know, man, it's just one of them places where people they gonna give you support.
Well, you can tell too because, and still right now, Saltillo. My kids go to Saltillo. Yeah. Saltillo's been the district to get in for a while, real estate wise. People want to move to Saltillo. Right. But you know, right now East Union has joined that mix, and people want to get out here. And somebody asked me if my kids weren't at Saltillo, where would I send them? And I said I'm so close, but not because I'm close. East Union would be where I send my kids. Yeah. What does it say about the administration and the school and just what the school is?
Yeah, man, I'm from here, so man, I love. You know, people say, man, how you get outside? Man, I don't know. I started school in '89, and
it's a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah. And I just, man, I've seen it grow so much. I've seen it change so much. You know, when I come through, you had baseball and basketball. You know, that was your two sports you could play. And a lot of us were in those same shoes back years ago.
I went to ball when it was there.
Yeah, and we dreamed of boys having a football team, and we got so close a couple times, and to see that revelation come true, and just an amazing football facility, and just man, over the last we've talked about this among ourselves, and there was one state championship here from 1961. Boys won a state championship in '81 basketball until 2000. It was an individual award in like 2003. First team was 2007. From 2007 to 2026, there's been 40 state championships, and so I got to witness that growth. I got to witness that explosion. You know, baseball and softballs had 10, 5 apiece over the last 10 years. We got an incredible coaching camaraderie. I don't think you'll find anywhere. And I say that I help with boys basketball. I love boys basketball. I love basketball. I love sports. I love anything that involves competition, and even coaching volleyball now. But we have a strength and conditioning guy that loves Scott Dooley. I mean, they've won 10. He's won 10 or 13. He's won 3 boys and 10 girls state championship powerlifting. He conditions all our kids, and he does it just because that's what he's passionate about. So you get that kind of buy-in from your coaching staff. Well, then, you know, Mr. Sandlin's here. This is his first year. Mr. Marshall, first year. He's from here too. But you get that kind of buy-in, and you know, it's unique. You know, and everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction. You know, they root for your success, and they aggravate you when you don't succeed.
Yeah.
That kind of goes back to that Chris Basil thing. Chris Basil, we won 2 in a row, and he told somebody if he don't win 3, we'll fire him. So and we know it's aggravation, but it keeps you grounded.
Sure,
it keeps you grounded.
Allie, you're in a school where all the sports, for the most part, are successful. How's that happen? Because this is not a huge school. What was the graduating class?
Oh, this year was small. One of the smallest whatever. I think was in the 40s this year.
40s.
I think around there.
But you're winning basketball and softball. You're competitive in pretty much everything. How does it happen with a small student base?
I mean, we work for it. You look around. There's not many kids that played basketball that weren't on the softball team, or played volleyball that weren't on the basketball team. It's a lot of work, but it's work that we want to put in. We want to win. We have that competitiveness. It's just been built into us since we were little. But there's been countless times when you'd go from one practice to another, go home for a little bit, come back for another practice, and you can't do that unless you love it. And we really love it. We do our best to show we love it and to make other people love it just as much as we do. And especially in softball, softball was my sport. That's what I wanted to do since I was little. You get out there in the field and you're like, what can I do today to get better? I want to be better today than I was yesterday. I want to have better stats this year than I did last year. And you have so many people that'll help you do that. Lucy Cochran, she's one of my best friends. Love her to death. She's the best person on and off the field. But there's not a time that I wouldn't call her and be like, hey, can we go to the field? Hey, can we go to the cage? And she wouldn't go.
She just won Gatorade Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Yes, she loves it. And she loves being out there. She loves people, and it was just great that, you had people behind you that want it and love it just as much as you do. And I really think that played a big part in all team winnings.
Yeah. You build off that, man. You talk about our coaches, these kids. I'm thinking in my mind right off the bat. I'm thinking about Lily Kate Johnson. I'm thinking about Caroline Sherwood, Reagan Johnson. Those kids, Marty Clayton. Those kids played volleyball, basketball, softball, and Caroline. Gosh, man, she led the state in digs, 700 and something digs as a libero for us. We went 32-5. Basketball won 31 games. Softball won 34 games. So you're talking about a kid there that won 100, almost 100 games their senior year.
Just this year.
Just this year. And those kids. So our coaches we're practicing volleyball. We'll start. We've started now, and we'll continue. Well, our basketball coach practices those same kids. We don't try to you don't get them. So when basketball starts, as soon as softball starts, those basketball girls play softball. They'll double time. They'll go to basketball. When they don't have a game, they'll come to softball. And our agreement, we're not going to do anything to hurt them, but those kids want to do it, and coaches, we allow it to happen. I think that's one reason you see success across multiple sports. Sharing athletes is something we try to. If it was something we all specialized in, Allie specialized in softball and they specialized in basketball, then those would be very good. And so I think we all understand that, and the coaches understand it, and we're kind of reaping the rewards of having these and there are downfalls to it. There's kids that you get burnt out, you get fatigued, you get tired. We get through those kids in May, and they start in August. They're tired. They're tired, and they don't get much time before we flip the page and go, hey, it's summer basketball, or it's summer softball, or it's workout time.
Yeah.
So we work them, and so the kids are tough enough to do it.
Yeah.
And parents allow us to do it for them, allow us to do it to them.
Allie, what's the key? Because you do get, I think it's okay to say you get burned out on things. Sometimes you wake up and you just don't really want to do it today. What's the key to getting out of that funk when it happens?
The people you surround yourself with. I mean, there's been times that I've woken up and I've been like, I just don't want to do it today. Be in the worst mood ever, and walk out on the field, and there's not a person that wouldn't make me smile, make me laugh, make me want to be there. And having that for 4 years, you get tired, you get complacent with where you're at as a team, and you always have somebody behind you, be like, no, we got to go, it's go time. So just having those people behind you, having those close friends, those close relationships with people, even teachers, we come in from a game, an away game, wouldn't get back till 12 o'clock, you know, go into class, and they just want to make you happy. They, you know, they want you to be there, and it makes you want to be there. And it's just crazy the community we have, because my first block teacher was Miss Belinda Bruce, and she might be one of my favorite teachers that I've ever had. But
She's intense.
She's you were gonna wake up if you had her class.
She's intense. Yep, she is intense. I got a lot of them like that. Miss Bruce she's one of the best. Yeah, and they love the kids, man. They do. They love to see, you know. Belinda, she played basketball here, went to school here. Her and her husband Lee was principal teacher at Morville for years. They moved back home a few years ago. Mr. Bruce took principal job, and you know, it's just full of people like that who've invested here through the years and come back home, because it's kind of, you know, it's just home. It's just where your roots are. You know, this is what you become to love it. It's just a family, and you know, you can say that generally and loosely, but it's truly unique. You know, those teachers support you, and you know, I understand education is more important than anything else, and you know, they do a fantastic job of doing that. I tell people all the time, man, what you do? Well, I'm not there for test scores. You know, I can get them to class. We can make sure they're doing their work, but you know, that's where it's at. Those are the unsung heroes. Those men and women who get up every day and educate them kids, man. That's a true calling. Miss Bruce is one of the best for sure.
Talk about this mascot.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be one of the most. Of course, I'm from this area, so I've known what an urchin is my whole life. But throughout the state, this has got to be one of the most unique, not just mascots, unique color schemes.
Oh, yeah.
You're not blue and red. You're not gold and yellow. You're what's the official color of East Union?
Brown and gold.
So it's nothing. It's brown and gold. There's no crazy names.
That's it. That's right.
What's it like wearing that? And what are your thoughts on the urchin and just the school?
So I come from school. We were black and gold. Come from Ripley.
A normal color.
Yes.
Yeah.
You move here, and all of a sudden, I'm wearing colors I've never worn before. You know. You learn to love it. There's a why behind it. There's a why behind what you're playing. And me and my mom mess with my dad all the time. He graduated from here. We tell him, you bleed brown and gold. That's we mess with him all the time. But there's a purpose behind the colors that you're wearing when you're out there playing. There's a purpose behind the name across your shirt. You know, you're not playing for yourself. You're not playing just for your friends. Our goal was to play for the name across our shirt and play for God. And we did that countless times. You know, looking back, there's been times we've sat there and we've just been down in the dumps, and Coach Blythe has been like, hey, we want to win. You know, it don't matter what sport we're in. He's not playing for another trophy. We're playing for the name across our chest, and that's carried us a long way.
Yeah.
Man, it's you people from here. I've laughed at my wife before. She go into the store and she would gravitate towards something that was brown. She's from here too, and you just kind of get it in you, you know. And the color scheme, I remember Coach Greenhill, Curtis Greenhill named. He gave us the name when they consolidated Jericho and Center and Blue Springs, and he gave us the name. And he was a big history guy.
I went to church with him.
Did you go to church, Mr. Curtis? And he's a big history guy.
Chewed on cigars.
Didn't
smoke them, just chewed on.
That's right. And he loved the Greek mythology. He loved the epic poems, and I can't remember what ancient god it was of the Greeks that, I don't know if it was Poseidon or if it was another one, but when they would go into war, the seahorses would be pulling and that's kind of how the seahorse came about. And then the urchin was the street urchin, the poorly or raggedly dressed boy. From a bunch of socio, you know, the economics of that day and time. Wasn't a lot of money here then, you know, and just hardworking people. And so he comes up with this, and I'm thankful as a coach that the San Diego Padres came back out with the brown and gold. So that's helped us get some more colors. Trying to find uniforms all the time is
you got to custom order those.
You got to custom them, and so when the Padres came out with the pinstripes, and I got with a company out in Texas called Black Star Athletics, and I sent them a picture of it and sent them our colors, and they matched it perfect. So we look like the Padres taking the field. There's no doubt about it. When you show up, they know who you are.
It's the only team in the state with this color scheme. Is that right?
It is. I think I know in college you got Wyoming.
Yeah.
You got, I think it's Western Michigan.
Yeah.
Played Mississippi State a few years ago. They're browning. But outside of that, and San Diego, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So the guy at Black Star called me. And we ordered those uniforms in 22 or 23, and I've added to it since. And he called me and wanted to just tell me how unique it was, and they take it to all their shows with them, so they can show off the.
So people are seeing East Union across the country.
Yeah. And so it's unique, and it's definitely different. I think we embrace that different. We like it. We embrace it, and it's part of who you are.
Yeah.
You learn to love it.
Yeah.
You learn to love it.
Yeah. Now I hope I don't catch flack for this question, but I've got a teenage daughter.
Yeah.
Guys teams and girls teams operate differently. You touched on it earlier.
Man, yeah.
Sometimes with teenage girls, you mentioned this earlier, it's a different dynamic.
Oh,
How do you learn to because there are moments I'm sure you drive each other crazy. To be teenage girls on a team like this and win, how do you overcome the moments where it's not all good?
At the end of the day, we have the same purpose, and we know that. It don't matter what happens off the field. As soon as we step on the field or step on the court, we have a purpose. And it was crazy this year. With girls, you get a lot of drama. We didn't have that. We're all so close. We all love each other. We all want the same thing. We want the best for each other. So it was really easy. But it's just different. Going from Ripley, it was a bigger school, more people. You would just sometimes wouldn't be good. And then I come here and immediately I had seniors would see me in the hallway and give me a hug, give me a high five. We just don't have a lot of drama within each other, and if we do, we forget about it once the game starts. Once we step on the field, it's over, and we play through it, and that's something we had to do a lot, is just play through it. Didn't matter what happened, injuries. I'm a little injury prone. It was you just play through it. You play. You have a purpose for playing, and you play for that purpose. So it was just easy when you have the same goal to get over something. So.
What a compliment, though, to have a team full of girls.
Oh, yeah.
So I've got a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
And sometimes they love their friends, sometimes they don't.
Coach Russell would be an excellent interview for this question, because he coached boys so long, and there would be times, man, the girls would just be, they just sometimes I think I find myself as I try to let them be them, and then don't try to micromanage it too much, but when it's time to go, it's time to go, and I think with girls, a lot of times we'll be up here having a hit around before playoff game starts, or the next day or whatever. And he says it's the difference between boys and girls. Boys don't open their mouth. Girls sometimes just craps and giggles. They're just sometimes you just go out there just giggling, man. What are you giggling? I don't even know what they're giggling for.
You're not arguing that. That's true.
I mean, the biggest thing you have to do is sometimes you have to get them back down to reality a little bit. I hit with boys basketball, and it's different, man. I really enjoyed being around the testosterone and because it's just the way boys and girls think. It's just completely, the way they do is completely different, and they do a great job of. This group just so competitive. They just when he got time, it was just you could tell. I could walk in the hit facility and tell you how the game was going to go.
Can you tell that too?
You can walk in there and tell. I feel sorry for somebody today, because it's they're absolutely locked in.
Yeah.
And so that was probably a lot of the coaching with this group. How we motivate them, how we get them ready to play. There were some upsets to the early in the season. We lost first game of the year without basketball, first game of the year with basketball, and then within the first week we got beat on a walk-off homer in a time limit game in the county tournament. West Union walked us off, and from that moment we had a meeting on the fence, and I think we didn't lose again. So there's to be able to have that ability to be able to do that, and to be able to do it and have the abilities to do different things. So they did it, man. It was just phenomenal.
But what a compliment, though. I mean, it's not sports has success here, but the girls have won 4 straight championships at school. The girls run the athletics at this school. That's got to feel good.
It does. you go, Coach Blythe, he's talking about the fence meetings. Every year we've had at least one where they've had to get on us a little bit, but you know, walking to the fence after a bad game, we're walking together, we're like, this ain't good, we're going to the fence. we're all the way to the fence. It's not, but the success, man, it's just different, you know. You hear a lot, baseball, it's harder than softball, you know. You don't really have that here. You know, everybody's happy for you. Everybody's cheering you on. There's been times where baseball is played, they've got done early, and they've come to watch softball. Yeah. We've got done with practice, and they're playing. We went and watched them. Yeah. You know,
that's big.
We just love each other.
There's no, you're not competing against somebody, you know, in the school for the limelight, the spotlight. You're they're generally, that's what they do. Baseball, because softball games, look, we would practice. I remember whenever this year, first round, our boys lost game 2, and I called Coach Russell. I said, we're going to be selected with softball practice day because these girls are going to want to go watch a freaking baseball game.
Yeah, because you want to.
Yeah, they want to. Yeah, they want to go up there and cheer them on. And the boys, you know, boys got put out in the 3rd round, which is the first time since this run's happened. Baseball wasn't playing; we were playing. Well, they come down from the North Ave, and they've got the Ole Miss beer showers, and the outfit. I had to go out, had to get on to them because they threw a water on a kid. You know, they didn't mean to. They were just
but they're there.
They were there. Trucks parked against the back. They hit a home run. They're throwing water like beer showers. And, so man, you know, the support of the students is, you know, it's incredible. It couldn't be any better.
Yeah,
it couldn't be any better.
Last couple things. Think back the last 4 years. As something he's done that you thought he's lost his mind. Is there one thing that pops in your mind that go, I cannot believe you just did that?
There's been a lot, you know. He's had me in volleyball and softball. He's around for basketball when I played basketball, you know. So there's a lot of stories, but we were on the bus on the way back home from a softball game.
I'm mad to edit
we go through, and he's driving. Yeah, we get into a parking lot at the Mexican restaurant. Boom! Fell off the seat. He done hit a car.
Yeah.
That might have been.
That happened.
That was a time where I was like, Coach, what are you doing?
That happened. Yeah.
So he hit a car in the parking lot.
He did. Yeah, that happened. I think we're actually leaving. Somebody parked up behind us. I didn't ever see him. Yeah. I never did see him.
You heard the crash in the bus.
I was on the very back, which is kind of our fault because we weren't sitting how we were supposed to be sitting where he could see.
They're taking some of the blame for it.
But, you know, we're sitting on top of the seats. We're excited. You know, we just got Mexican. We, you know, played a game. And then, boom.
Talking about girls and boys, talking about the fence meeting. I remember telling our seniors, I try to challenge those seniors. You know, somebody got to grab the bull by the horn. Somebody's got to take charge of this. And we went North Ave, and the coach, can we go get something to eat? Yeah, we'll stop. We'll stop here and Mexican get us something to eat. So we go in, and there's a bull in there. And Caroline Sherwood Senior, she goes, "Go grab the bull by the horns."
And that become a thing for the rest of the season.
Became,
you know,
in
the
something
huddle,
I said, they just.
In the huddle before the meeting, you know, we're sitting there and we're joking with each other. We're Caroline grabbed the bull by the horn, and so
it become a thing.
Yes, it did, and it's just little things like that you're gonna remember. You know, at the end of the day, I'll have a ring, but it's those friendships and those memories that I'm gonna have, and I'm gonna try to hold on to for as long as I can. There's just little jokes that we have with each other. You know, during practices, listening to music. You know, making you want to be out there that. You're not going to find anywhere else.
You answered my last question for both of you. My question was, what's beyond the championships? You're going to have your rings, your titles, but you just answered that question. If you want to expound on that, what's beyond that? What do you remember outside the championships?
I mean, I remember before practices, you know, I can drive, and I have, you know, little freshmen like, hey, let's go eat. And I think my favorite time, we went to Chick-fil-A. I took them to Chick-fil-A. They were like, we're eating a good meal. We're going to do great tonight. And get out there and hit a home run. So they were like, you know what, from now on, we got to go eat Chick-fil-A before every game, so you'll hit. And it's just little things like that. You know, I have Lucy, Addison, you know, they're so close. And it was just great being able to share those memories with each other. Me and Lucy go and do stuff together all the time. You know, me, Caroline, Roxy, Joe, that had been with each other for 4 years. You know, win after win, loss after loss. You know, it didn't matter at the end of the day. We still love each other. We're still playing for a purpose, and our purpose carried us very far. We started Bible studies before games. That started our freshman year. You know, just seniors putting something together, doing stuff like that, and that's how we were taught. You know, we were taught by those seniors how to be seniors. So using Bible studies, you know, on the bus, we use the little microphone on the bus to go through the speakers. Just little meetings like that we would have with each other, and we would just be together and laugh, giggle, all those things. That was our purpose, and we carried that purpose with us as long as we could.
What about for you?
I think after doing this so many years, and if you count years by how many seasons you coached, and there's a young lady here who's teaching here now that I coached from 7th grade to 12th grade. She's got a kid, and you almost feel like a papa, almost feel like a granddaddy, you know. And you remember the moments, you remember the great times, but it's those hugs you get and those remarks you get on Facebook. You get when you receive an award that you ain't taught somebody or coached them in 20 years, and the impact you had on them. That's what drives me. That's what I look forward to. I go, one of my first softball players here. In fact, she was 7th grader when I got here. She told me, "It's the coach, one day I get married, you're gonna marry me." I said, "Okay, we'll do it." She held true to it, and I married her about 2 years ago.
So you ordained, you did that.
I absolutely performed the ceremonies, and she's married, just had a kid the other day. So those things are what's cool. Those watching Allie, I'll keep up with her to detail, and she goes northeast, and I'll talk to her, and then she's going before you look up, man. 5-6 years goes by, she'll be married, and she'll have kids, and you get a little older, but it's those relationships. That's what's important to me. And I want those kids to know I love them, I care about them, and I'm gonna do everything I can to make their experience better. I'm always trying to do something at the softball field. I built them a really nice dressing room, hangout lounge, and flat screen TV, and I want it to be theirs. I want them to have the best experience they can have. That way, when they get up, that was the best place I ever been. And that's my why. That's why I do it. Pour into them and love them, and those are what's fun to me.
Yeah. That's all I got, guys.
Thank you, brother.
Thank y'all so much.
Enjoyed it, man.
Alex, nice to meet you. Thank you so
you.
much.